Hey Gearheads, and welcome to GT Garage Talk, a conversation about all things automotive. Switched it up a little there for you. But this week on the podcast, I have a very special guest in studio with me this evening, and my lovely, beautiful wife, Holly.
Wow. What? Well.
I didn't mean to leave you muted. No, that was purely accidental.
Should I take that as a hint?
The power. No, not at all. I truly meant everything in that introduction. My lovely, beautiful wife. How have you been for the gearheads who haven't heard your lovely voice in a while?
I've been well,
Yeah?
I guess.
We've had a lot of different vehicles come in and out.
Been a whirlwind.
It
of
has
vehicles.
been, and it is picking up. Business here at GT Garage Talk is very quickly picking up pace and out accelerating even my wildest dreams at this point. I've got several videos in the backlog, but one that really stands out to me is probably the most recent as we sit down to record this. It was the vehicle that we took on a road trip across and down to Central Texas last weekend. Perhaps, if I'm not mistaken, one of your favorite vehicles that we've had here on the channel in the 2022 Mercedes-AMG E53.
Yeah, it was a fun vehicle. I like Mercedes. It's not hard to convince me on a Mercedes.
So I am GM fanboy here on the channel. Holly is all things Mercedes here on the channel. We're well-rounded, We've got varying tastes.
You're a fanboy of any car. What are we kidding?
Yeah. That's becoming more and more true the more I sample different vehicles from different manufacturers. So I'll take it. I won't argue with you on that one. But as I stated, things have been picking up here rather aggressively at the channel. We now have 2 vehicles in the driveway at once for testing. As we sit here right now, we've got 2 electric vehicles sitting in the driveway for testing, which makes for fun charging those 2 vehicles. It's a little, what do you call it? Hot potato
Tetris?
Or Tetris or whatever you want to call it. Musical chairs.
Musical chairs. That's the one we're looking for.
Yes. Because we have one spot to fast charge and one spot to basically trickle charge in our garage/driveway, and it has made for just a fun and interesting dynamic having those 2 EVs here in the driveway. Lucky for us, we have been sponsored on this channel by Electron Portable EV Chargers. So quick shout out to a sponsor of the channel. If you want to help us out, I will put a link to their stuff and to our gear page on our website that just shows you some of the stuff they offer, including the home and portable charger they supplied us that drastically cut down on our charging time. So we got that charger way back when we had the Hyundai Ioniq 5. And I remember the day I drove the Ioniq 5 home from Dallas, it's saying like 25 hours to charge from where I was to a full charge on the 110 supplied plug that came with it. And then the Electron charger showed up and it was like 6 hours. And
it
my
was
gosh,
so nice.
game changer, which I've got you quoted as saying it completely changes our outlook on the possibility of having an electric vehicle here in the family, because it really was like night and day going from 16, 17, 25 hours to charge it after driving it extensively from Dallas and back to being able to charge it easily overnight.
Yeah, I definitely, having the right equipment for an EV is paramount to to the success and how you feel about EVs. I feel like I was probably a lot more hesitant on EVs before trying them out, and I am pretty much completely sold. I mean, the thing, the what do you call it? The fear, the
range anxiety
that is very real for me. But that's getting better with all the EVs that come out. But
you didn't drive the 100-mile range Mazda back from Dallas, which
no, because I'm not a crazy person.
That would be me. But yes, coming out soon on our channel, I did go to Dallas to pick up the Mazda MX-30, a vehicle that is currently only sold in California as basically a compliance vehicle for them. It has 100 miles of all-electric range and made for an interesting trip back from the DFW Metroplex because as the entire trip was 120 miles in a vehicle that only gets 100, so that was fun in and of itself. I did have one extended charge stop on the way home, but yes, I am the resident crazy person here on the channel. What excites me about that vehicle...
But what happens if you break down?
You call AAA, or in our instance, you'd call it Mazda because they gave it to us. But the interesting part of that vehicle is if you open the hood, there is plenty of room under the hood for a gas generator motor, which they already sell in overseas markets, and I'm very much looking forward to them bringing here to the States, because what was the one word you used to describe that vehicle when I got it back here to the driveway?
It's cute.
It really is, and I knew you would use that word as soon as I saw it in person. I was like, yep, Holly's going to think it's cute. Because overall in size, it's a compact car, but it stands up taller, so it's a crossover, but it's 2 full doors and 2 half doors that open in reverse. It reminds me of like a tall little sports car, and driving around, it's peppy but not fast. It's a fun little city car that I can see catching on. But yes, very much cute. You aren't the only one who's told me that, by the way. I may have shown it off a little today and had that word thrown back at me a few times, but...
It is cute.
So you have not gotten behind the wheel of it just yet. I am anxious to see how you like its driving manners and behavior. The inside is what really sold me. It's got a really cool interior. The dash looks like every other Mazda we've ever seen, basically. But the seats are real premium cloth and vinyl exterior around them. There's a lot of cork on the inside. There's some...
Well, don't give the whole review away.
I know. There's some unique storage options that you'll just have to go watch on the channel for that one. But really fun car in its own right. And then the other EV we have literally in the garage right now is the sister car to the Ioniq 5 that you and I both loved so much in the Kia EV6, and it is the GT line all-wheel drive. So it is, as apples to apples, comparable to that Ioniq 5 that we had. And so far, I know we haven't recorded our review yet. You're not going to spill the beans as to what you think, but so far I am thoroughly enjoying it. And you and I do, spoiler alert, have on the schedule the third of those triplets scheduled to arrive here next week for testing in the Genesis GV60. So we will have a well-rounded picture of what Hyundai is bringing to the table as a company with all their electric vehicles. But
well, spoiler alert, it's good stuff.
Yes, yes it is. You and I have talked for a long time about what our next family vehicle will be. The more Hyundai Motor Group products that come through our garage, so that includes Kia and Genesis and obviously Hyundai, the more of those come through our garage, I am all but convinced it is going to be one of those 3 brands. Now, I obviously have my leanings.
What about the Mercedes?
I know our budget, and that Mercedes that we were driving was $87,000. We're not quite there yet, but go support us on YouTube and go to gtgaragetalk.com/gear.
Help us get our Mercedes.
all the things, but Yes. I have a very good suspicion that the next vehicle that you and I spend money on will be from the Hyundai Motor Group. And like I said, the more vehicles we sample, the more I believe that to be true. What say you? You don't want to spill the beans. You're playing those cards really close.
I see that you're trying to read my facial expressions.
Yes.
Poker face. No, I mean, I've said it before and I'll say it again. And this car is no different. That Kia continues to surprise me.
Yes.
On how much I like their vehicles. I don't think there's been a single Kia that we've driven that I didn't like and wouldn't put money into.
And that is quite
and the price
high
and the price point is great,
right?
You know, so if you're looking for an affordable, nice vehicle, I've been really impressed with Kia.
And so far, I haven't even brought home the full lineup to you yet. So,
we've done so. If we're doing a recap, we've done the Sorento
EX Hybrid.
Okay. We've done the K9, K5.
Yes.
Which I really liked the K5.
You keep going back to the K5.
I know. I really like it.
And we had the GT line version of that. That was actually the first vehicle we actually did a review of here on the channel.
And I really liked it.
It has just fond memories overall. We will always remember the K5 as our first. Unfortunately, spoiler alert, Kia and parent company Hyundai have said they're bowing out of that midsize sedan. So the K5 may not be long for our shores, as well as the Hyundai Sonata version of it. So if you like the K5 and you want a K5 brand new, go find a local Kia dealership and get on that list.
We're going to do it now.
Yep.
But isn't a Stinger?
Stinger is a Kia. Yeah.
That was fun.
Yep. Yeah. We had two
what's
versions.
the one we have right now? The EV?
We have the EV6.
Oh, okay.
And then we had two versions of the Sportage. Neither one of those you got to sample. Those were both dealer loans to me for an afternoon. And I really liked granted it was top trim SX Prestige, but the hybrid version I tried out. Yeah. That one really impressed me.
And I was even coming into this with, I don't know if you remember, a bias against Kia because of their commercial, their Super Bowl commercial, where they traveled across the country and didn't even make a stop in Texas. Hello.
Come on, Kia. What are you doing?
What are you doing? What are you doing if you're making a cross-country trip and don't even stop in Texas?
Rude. So, yes, you are even biased against the brand, and you're like fawning head over heels now. So it is interesting to see just what some real dedicated seat time will do for a brand and for a brand perception. This is a brand that I came in biased against. I long tell the story of my introduction to the Kia brand was my dad's base model beige Kia Sophia, which I just love the name, Kia Sophia. It was beige, cloth seats, 5-speed manual, crank windows. I don't even know if it had a CD player in 1997, but Kia Sophia was my introduction to the brand. Kia has come a tremendously long way from the Kia Sophia. They still make entry-level cars. The Rio is still out there. The Soul will get you in pretty cheap. The Forte is a really good bargain. But even the Forte, I've tested the Forte GT on the channel and was thoroughly impressed. And at $27,000, again, really good bargain all the way around for a fun, fast, sporty, compact sedan that you said it best. Kia continues to blow us away here at the channel.
Yeah. So I'm glad to have another one.
Yes. And, we may even have another one coming after this.
I'd be okay with that.
We shall see what turns up in the garage in future weeks. There have been some other notable vehicles. You obviously fell head over heels for the Ford Bronco that we had.
Yeah.
I do believe we've already talked about that on the channel, so we won't spend too much time
That was
on
a
it.
fun one.
Yeah, I do believe. So we spent the day out at Barnwell Mountain Recreation Area. Shout out to them for hosting us for the afternoon. And you left the day off-roading for the first time.
Yeah,
splashing through the mud.
so I don't think I've adequately, even if we've talked about it before, I don't think I've adequately bragged enough on the off-roading that I did. So go watch the video and watch me splash through some mud.
I am very impressed.
It was terrifying. And never would we do such a thing if we owned that vehicle.
Never?
Yeah, Corey, never.
Oh, boo. So
Never.
Back to your question, when are we buying one? Never, apparently.
Never.
But our cover photo on Facebook is you splashing through the mud. Shout out to Shots by Kelby for taking that picture. And yeah, it was a fun vehicle, fun afternoon. Tucker was with us. He had a blast going out and off-roading. I am looking forward to the next off-road vehicle that is sent our way. I think everything I know of on the schedule is either a sports car or an EV. So we've got some time to be scheming, but I'm still trying to get a Tundra here on the channel.
Well, okay. Look,
Raptor.
you always talk about what you're trying to get on the channel. What about what I'm trying to get
All
on
right,
the
what
channel?
what say you?
Exactly. I'm only on here every once in a while, so let me tell you
Okay.
what I want to get on the channel.
Send me on a shopping list. What am I going and asking manufacturers for?
Okay. So this is an interesting story. So I am a marketer by trade.
Yep.
So I pay attention a lot to the marketing of vehicles and things like that and the response to them maybe.
Okay.
The only car vehicle that has made me change my mind, other than the Kia, the Kia commercial that made me mad that they didn't stop in Texas. That's a bad example. But it did make me feel my emotions, not in the way they wanted me to, though. But it's the, the commercials where the grandmother is hugging the tree and they're stopping at all of the places that she fell in love. What is that car?
It's Subaru.
That's the one I want. I want a Subaru so bad just because of their commercials the past few years. It's the first one I remember seeing was that one with the grandmother, and they're stopping at all of the locations that she and her husband fell in love,
Right.
and then there's a mom. The one of them I'm assuming is the kid, and then she's got the grandkid, and the husband asks the wife, "What are they doing now?" And the wife looks out the window and she says, "They're literally hugging a tree."
Well, they do say love is what makes a
Love
Subaru
is what makes a Subaru. And all of their commercials that they've come out with, there was one recently about a guy taking his Subaru on all of these adventures, and it was talking about breaking out of the ordinary, going on an adventure. And it just spoke to me. I don't think those cars are cute at all. They do have some colors.
Yes.
Yeah, they do have some colors that I like, but it's kind of an ugly car, I think. You like them, I know.
I do. A lot.
Yeah, but they're kind of ugly. The colors are kind of cool. And I would never be like, if I just saw one, be like, oh, that's the car I want. But because of their marketing, I just always have these nice feelings. And I'm like, I need to test one of these cars because I love them.
All right, Subaru, the challenge has been issued. We are not currently on your media list, but I have sampled. Let's see, we've had an Outback Wilderness, a Forester Wilderness, and a Legacy sedan, and a WRX. So we have 4 Subarus on the channel, all loaned to us from our friends here.
And none of them I got to drive.
Right. I'm sorry. Because they were all here
I
want to
go in my Subaru and hug some trees.
Well, our friends at Pelche Subaru here in Tyler loaned them to me for an afternoon, and unfortunately, with your day job, could not pull you away for those activities. But hopefully soon we will be on the Subaru media list so that you can truly experience that Subaru love.
The Subaru love, and see if it is love.
Yes.
As much love as they've built it up to be.
I have had a smile on my face, spoiler alert, in all 4 of those vehicles that I've driven. One less so than the other 3, but I have been impressed. They're built very nicely. Safety is high on their priority, which you told me and Tucker that your number one shopping list item for vehicles is safety for the boy and the rest of your family.
Yeah, of course. And that is one of the big messages of their marketing that I'm like, oh.
You know what else I think really got you hook, line, and sinker?
Don't say the puppy dogs.
It was the puppy dogs.
It wasn't the puppy dogs. It did. The puppy dogs didn't hurt anything, but it wasn't the puppy dogs.
So I don't know if you, listener, have ever been to a regional or big car show, but Holly traveled with me to the Chicago Auto Show this past year. And as per usual, Subaru brought the Humane Society, ASPCA. I can't
One
remember.
of them.
Yeah,
Two.
It bothers me that I cannot remember who they're partnered with, but oh my God. They partner with the National Forest Service and companies like Tread Lightly to help make sure that we do the right thing and we're responsible when we're off-roading. And also either the Humane Society or ASPCA, I can't remember who, but they always bring puppies everywhere they go.
Yeah.
Houston Auto Show, puppies. DFW, Dallas Auto Show, puppies. Chicago Auto Show, puppies. LA Auto Show, puppies. I haven't made it out to the New York Auto Show yet, but I would imagine.
I bet there's puppies.
Puppies. And yes, I remember I lost you for a moment while I was drooling on the Broncos that were nearby. Yeah.
Yeah, I was waiting for the puppy station to open up. As soon as it opened up, I was, bye. See ya.
Yes. So Subaru's marketing, they know a thing or two about
Yeah,
about
keep
a thing or
that
two.
marketing agency around because
So-
it works. It's working.
All right, Holly's shopping list for Corey. Get on Subaru's media list. Anything else that you're just itching to get behind the wheel of? Besides the obvious, a G-Wagon.
Of course.
Yes.
G-Wagon. Nope, that's it.
So
I think
G-Wagon
so.
and Subaru.
Yeah.
Okay. I shall try my hardest and
I mean,
not
I think it
rest
would be
until-
fun to try one of the EV Jeeps,
Okay.
the new ones. I think that would be interesting. I mean, if we're going to go for a Jeep next, which I know is something that you really like, and
Yes.
I've always liked Jeeps until I drove the Bronco, and now it may be more on the list. But I really am interested in those EV Jeeps.
Okay.
Are they making EV Broncos? No, not yet.
Rumors are circulating, nothing official.
I'll take an EV Hummer
Okay.
and test it out.
You hear that,
A
Jancy?
Lightning?
Yeah. So I did get to drive
If
a
we
Lightning.
get a Lightning,
Yeah.
you're not getting to drive it.
Oh my goodness, really? Well,
Yeah.
I've already driven 3, so I'll take it that as a feather in my cap. But yeah, I saw your reaction to the fact that I was invited to the Ford Media Drive event of the Ford Lightnings, and yes, we have been told, but nothing confirmed on our calendar yet, that one shall be coming to us for a week's worth of testing.
All right,
And-
well, you'll be looking good from the passenger side.
Hey, it was a really, I was surprised. It felt every bit Ford F-150, which we had a King Ranch version for a week here at the channel and loved the massaging seats and all the luxury. But the 3 that I drove, every bit Ford F-150, but you don't have to spend literally an arm and a leg filling it up with gasoline. And that's like the real selling point right now. We live in Texas. F-150s are everywhere. They are, I joke, but they literally are the family vehicle of Texas. People use them for picking kids up at school, going to get the groceries, and doing work on the weekend or on the farm or whatever. They are the Swiss Army knife multi-purpose tool of Texas.
Yeah.
They're everywhere.
Yeah.
So the Lightning really is, for a majority of buyers, all the truck you would ever need.
Yeah.
Without any of the fuel sacrifices with $5 plus gasoline.
Plus gasoline, and who knows when it's going to stop.
Yep. And I didn't even tell you this, but if you buy a Ford Lightning, you can opt to get a power system, keep it in layman's terms, installed in your house along with it, so that this flashbacks to Snowmageddon, if you lose power in your house and your Lightning is plugged in and fully charged, it will reverse power your house. So that is right. Your Ford F-150 Lightning can be a backup power source for your house that also doubles as a usable full-size truck all along the way. We had some friends post on Facebook not too long ago about what is the best option for like a Tesla Powerwall, or a backup power source or a generator, and I said Ford F-150 Lightning because it also it not only is a generator for your house, but it doubles as an F-150
vehicle.
So I mean, the automakers are getting very cunning and very innovative in what they are offering and doing, and stuff like that really excites me because Snowmageddon, many people around us, luckily not us, knock on wood, we were fortunate to make it out of Snowmageddon never losing power.
Right.
But if we did, we weren't really going anywhere anyway. It would be nice to have that F-150 plugged in the garage, powering the house back.
Yeah, and not only that, it's a F-150. So if you had to get out, like many people were doing, it would have been a safe vehicle for that as well.
And Ford claims
not that you should make every buying decision on one random historic event, but
Ford does claim that the F-150 Lightning on a full charge can store up to 3 days worth of power for an average household. So very impressive.
Yeah. So let's get one of those.
Yeah. I mean, I am in touch with our Ford reps and literally sent an email today reminding them, hey, don't forget about us over here. So if you want to see us, okay, Holly's already admitted, if you want to see Holly drive an F-150 Lightning here on the channel, be sure and let us know in the comments. Find us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all those good things. Let us know. Comment.
Well, and speaking of, I'm not sure that many people really want to hear my opinion about cars, but you say they do.
They do.
So we have started a Instagram account that is going to be just my opinions.
No me whatsoever involved. It is just Holly. I may be the photographer and pass those pictures on to you and let you even pick them, doctor them up, do whatever you want. But you can go find strictly Holly's opinions on Instagram at
Female Consumer.
Yep. So really, obviously, because we have a constant flow of cars coming through the garage here, a lot of car-heavy content in there. But, we've got a 4-year-old son. There's tons of child products and toys and all kinds
so
of
really
good stuff
I want to do it to share. A lot of people ask me for different opinions because we also travel a lot. We have always traveled with our son. His first trip was he was just a few weeks old.
Right. We went to Dallas and back. I had an interview in Dallas. And still
he came with us and
he had his little bow tie on.
Yeah, it was so cute. And then at 3 months old, we took his first real vacation road trip. And so, and it's just been...
Yeah, we've been calling him Vacation Baby ever since.
He is. So, so that'll be a place that we will share travel tips, travel products, car reviews, family car reviews, from a female consumer, not gearhead. Not that all females are not gearhead, but I am not, and other people are not also gearheads.
So the real, true, honest, just a female consumer going out and what would I know as a car shopper, what stands out to me? What would speak to me as a consumer? That's the voice you plan on lending. Right?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm excited just to see a little bit more from you in the car world. I mean, I'm a little biased, but it's seemingly been my entire life. I've been chasing after cars, but my love for vehicles started at 9 years old, and love to be pulling you into the fold ever so slightly, or kicking and screaming, whatever the case may be. But yes, go check her out on Instagram at Female Consumer. Quick, easy, very. We like to keep things simple here at GT Garage Talk, right?
Simple. Yep.
Before we close out, this will be a little bit shorter episode this week, but before we close out, we have had a lot of different vehicles. We've talked about the Mercedes. We've talked about the Bronco. What are some female consumer tips or vehicles that have really stood out to you? Features, things that
Vehicles or tips?
Vehicle tips,
Maybe some features you didn't even know that you really needed.
That's what I was trying to say. See, that's why I've got you around, because
well, I will say, from the cars that we've driven, if you are in the market for a new car, I would not go less than a hybrid.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, 100%. I think, just the way that everything's moving towards electric vehicle. I know there are people who are kicking and screaming with the transition. I, too, don't love the transition, or didn't love the transition.
So you started sampling.
But my favorite cars have been either hybrids or all electric. Yep. And they drive smoother. It actually feels, to me, and this may have no basis, again, not a gearhead, they feel safer because I feel like I can stop faster. I feel like I can get up out of somebody's way faster. It's cleaner for the environment, maybe.
The hot take there, or the talking point that most people like to throw out there, is the overall carbon footprint of the production
of it.
Of the vehicle is much worse than.
Maybe, I know people like to say that.
Yes.
Maybe. Who knows? It may be better. But it is, again, that is if you have the capabilities to, because I know there's some people who don't have garages to charge it up. Some people don't have easy electrical access in their garage to charge it up. Some people don't have that thing. But if you do have those capabilities, I would think you're crazy for not going at least hybrid, which you can go hybrid without having a plug-in.
Correct. The Kia Sorento we had.
And it was really nice. The Kia in
on a full tank of gas, had over 500 miles of range, 3 rows of seats.
And it was affordable, too.
Yeah, $37,000.
Yeah. So you got these, maybe I'm being the devil's advocate to electric vehicles, because you have these people that think only or all electric vehicles are 55 plus.
Yep.
And I agree. If you're going to pay $20,000 or $30,000 more than you normally would have for an electric vehicle, then it's not worth it. But now you're getting hybrids that are really good, like the Sorento, that are in that affordable price range for a new vehicle, if you're looking for a new vehicle. And that's the only way I would go.
Yep. I will say we do have an EV in the garage right now that is not $55,000. Much cheaper. And Chevrolet has recently lowered the price on their cheapest EV, the Bolt and Bolt EUV, to where the Chevy Bolt is now the United States cheapest electric vehicle. I can't remember the exact number out the gate, but they reduced the price of it by like $6,000, basically taking away the tax-sensitive pricing, all that good stuff. But seriously, you can get a good, cheap EV for not that much money. The Chevy Bolt has 230-ish miles of range on it, which is plenty for 90% of people and their use cases for their vehicles. So just, it is interesting. Yes, you made a good point about not everybody has access to electricity in their garage or a garage, or some people street park. Some people, just don't have that luxury. But the infrastructure is growing. I did see an article this week. The state of Texas is using funds from the federal government's infrastructure plan that passed, and they plan on putting charge points every 50 miles along the interstates and major routes. And then after that is done, they're going to start putting them in more rural communities. So very excited about just the increased availability of rapid charging. But the real benefit that I see with electric vehicles is just staying away from the gas station altogether. You and I famously stepped away from gas-powered lawn equipment for the sake of, I didn't want to be lugging gasoline in cans in the back of our Jeep or my car. I just didn't want gas in a vehicle. And that was one.
Or around our son,
right,
who could get in it.
That was one of my biggest concerns. I didn't want to have to store it anywhere. Yeah, I just didn't want gasoline sitting around at our house or out in our shed or wherever the case may be. I did not want that. And so we stepped away from gas-powered lawn equipment. And then, having lived with EVs for weeks at a time, I'm really liking the option availability. I'll go drive the EV because I did the math after our time with the Ioniq 5. The plan that we are on costs us 3 cents a mile to drive an EV.
Yeah.
My car getting nearly 50 mpg, and this was when gas prices were a little bit lower, but the best I could get out of my car, 8 cents a mile. Your car, 25 cents. So, and gas prices have risen since I've done that math. So, it's really nice to know that, I can cheaply go out there and drive the EV and come back and never had to visit a gas station.
Yeah.
And then you actually were onto something about being safer with the electric vehicles, because the instant torque, not having to wait for a vehicle to downshift to get out and around somebody, I think that is my number one real life talking point to people of, yeah, but EVs I'm like, the best real life scenario is being able to avoid something by having that instant power and getting out and around somebody.
Yeah. Another thing that you're going to be, I had more than just that. That's the only feature. But I would say that's probably the biggest, controversial thing.
Is you would not go below
I would not go below a hybrid.
Hybrid
at least. Sorry. But another thing that you're probably going to be surprised that I probably will not be able to live without now is Apple CarPlay. And I know I've complained about it sometimes, but like right now, all of the tech problems we have with the Jeep, a lot of that is.
Yeah, we're on a older version of Jeep's Uconnect system. It doesn't have Apple CarPlay.
It doesn't. I can't plug in. The biggest thing is the maps. We travel a lot. A lot of times I'm traveling by myself for work or something like that, and I'm having to fidget with my phone for the maps. I can't, on my current system, even if I plug my phone in, it sometimes plays the directions when they happen over the radio, and it sometimes doesn't.
Yep.
So you can't rely on it. I still have to look at that or unplug my phone and have it
drain the battery.
Just drain the battery, and it's just a big. It annoyed me before, but annoys me even more now that I know better. I know better is out there.
Yeah.
Not enough to. Go out and buy a new one since this car's paid off or anything like that. I mean, for no car payment, I'll deal with a lot of stuff. But if we're buying a new car, I want Apple CarPlay.
Yeah, unfortunately, this whole thing for both of us has created a very long list of, I'll do air quotes, non-negotiables on our next
Yeah,
vehicle.
air quotes, non-negotiable, because everything's negotiable when you talk about price.
Ventilated seats,
Yeah.
memory seats, because, we're different heights and constantly moving seats back and forth. Apple CarPlay.
Apple CarPlay.
I will say, okay, my car, even older than your Jeep, and the last time I drove to Dallas in it, I was like, man, I really do miss Apple CarPlay.
Told you.
Just being able to glance over.
I mean,
and
I'd
see on the screen.
rather have Apple CarPlay than the ventilated seats.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Apple, this being the nerd side of me coming out, Apple recently announced that the next version of CarPlay can, if manufacturers play along, override all the screens in a vehicle. So it can power your gauge cluster if your gauge cluster is completely a screen, your center screen. The Jeep Grand Wagoneer famously has like 79 inches of screen real estate. I know some of that is in the rear seats and stuff like that, but in theory, Apple CarPlay could take over all of that. So tech companies can do tech better than car companies can. So I'm intrigued for our first vehicle where Apple CarPlay is everything. and I'm really intrigued now knowing your stance on CarPlay, how that plays out for our family and the female consumer.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Another feature I really like is the heads-up display.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
So,
And in fact,
this long list, we keep building.
know. But these are kind of like the top. I'm just giving you like the top 5. Hybrid, Apple CarPlay, heads-up display, which I could do without the heads-up display. Like that's not a non-negotiable, but it is really, it's one of those features that I didn't know I needed until I tried it. But I mean, in the Kia that we have right now, I drove up the street and at one point I looked down at the screen and the steering wheel was basically how I had the steering wheel was basically hiding the entire screen. I couldn't see anything. And I was like, well, how have I been keeping up with what speed I'm going? Oh, yeah, the heads-up display. That's why I didn't even notice that the steering wheel was blocking the whole screen.
So one thing I remember you liked about the Kia Sorento was sitting in traffic. If you don't go, like, right after a car goes, the car in front of you starts moving, it will beep and let you know. The heads-up display in the EV6 even has little arrows pointing you to go forward.
That's so sweet. Kia is like, it's not annoying either.
Right.
It's like just a gentle nudge.
Yeah, just don't forget.
Hey.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah.
Not like what was that Toyota that was like beeping every 5 seconds.
Yeah, it was the Lexus that really, I think, got on your nerves.
Was it the Lexus?
Yeah. But yeah, I'll say it. I've said it before. I'll say it again. I have a strong hunch that the next vehicle we purchase is going to be made by the Hyundai Motor Group. I'd almost put money on
I
that.
haven't driven a Subaru yet.
Yeah.
We'll see.
You hear, Subaru? All right. The challenge has been laid. And I do say that that's probably a good stopping point for this week's episode. Holly, female consumer, so glad to have you on the show. Kind of give a life update and what's going on here at GT Garage Talk. Thank you so much.
Growing.
Yep.
Thanks for everybody helping us.
Yes, thank you so much. And you can further help us without actually spending a dime. I know I joked. You can go to gtgaragetalk.com/gear. And if you buy anything off of that page, stuff that we've tried and recommended, we get a commission back as Amazon affiliates. Holly joked about going and supporting us on Patreon, but seriously, going and watching us on YouTube, commenting, liking our videos is the #1 way to help the channel, because the more interaction we get on our videos, the more YouTube decides to show to other people, which makes YouTube decide to show to other people. So with that said, you know where to find us, gtgaragetalk.com, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, all the good stuff. Don't forget Female Consumer on Instagram. Until next time, Gearheads. Bye.
Bye.